Hi guys, it's me, Mr. Dan1268, otherwise known as the Dan, and today we're going to go ahead and continue on with our series of how much is my collection worth. So today I'm going to go ahead and go into what console that may be using the application Game Eye, which I will announce that very shortly. You'll probably get it by the title anyway. So just a little bit of a recap. So my PS3 collection in USD is $441. In Australian dollars, it is $665, and for the PS1, it is $328 Australian and $228 United States dollars. So today we're going to go ahead and go over one of my favorite consoles of all time to collect for and purchase. That is the original Xbox. The reason why I love this console so much is my neighbors had it. I didn't. I was always so jealous because they had Halo 2. I kind of had to rely upon friends and stuff. So when I got my own, I played the bejesus out of it. So we're going to go ahead and go over those game titles, and I'll see you guys over on Handcam. Catch you guys over there.
Okay, so we've gone ahead and had a little sip of Pepsi just to freshen up the voice. So the first game here we got is The Criticals of Riddick, Escape from Butcher's Bay with Vin Diesel in it. This one here is worth $3. So the first games we're going to go through are the Xbox Classics, and then we'll go for the first prints after that. So $3 it is. On to the next game. Okay, so the next game that we have here is Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets. I love the original first two Harry Potter games. I think the ones on the PS1 are actually better, but beggars can't be choosers. So this one here is worth $10. This is the Classics version. This one here is also complete. All right, on to the next game. Okay. Next game we got here is Doom 3. This one here is worth $3. This one here is also complete with a manual, and it does have a little chip at the bottom, but that's what happens with these old cases over time. All right, on to the next game. All right, so the next game we got here is Crash Bandicoot Warped. This is the classic or best of version. I do want to get an original print of the Wrath of Cortex on the Xbox. This is the best console to play third-party games on during this generation. So Crash Bandicoot Warped is worth $24. This one here is also complete. I think the best of series for the Xbox was exclusive to Australia. I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look into that one for you guys. Anyway, on to the next game. Okay, the next game we got here is Crash Bandicoot Twin Insanity. Like the other one, I do want to get a first print. This is just the Classics version. So Crash Bandicoot Twin Insanity on the Xbox is worth $12. I believe this one here is also complete with a manual and disc. This one's in fairly good condition. I did love this game as a kid. This is definitely one of those ones we're going to do on retro achievements. All right, on to the next game. Okay, on to the next one. Trek. I can't really do a great Trek impression. So this one here is worth $9 dues. This one's complete. I don't think I've ever played this one. I played some Shrek games. I think I played Shrek the Third on the 360. I know there's like a Smash Brothers kind of knockoff game that I want to get into, and I think there's a kart racer. I'll have to look into that one. So Shrek 2 on the original Xbox is worth a grand total of $9 dues. On to the next game. Okay, on to the next game. This one here, obviously, it's worth about $8. So this is Oddworld's Munch's Odyssey. As you can see, the case has been replaced with a PS2 one for some random reason. This one here is not complete. This is one I'll definitely be replacing at some point with the complete version. On to the next game. Okay, on to the next game. The next game we got here is Burnout. This one here is worth a grand total of $10. This one here is not complete. So this is definitely one of the ones that will be on the chopping block to get a complete version, and obviously it would be first print. All right, on to the next game. All right, on to the next game. The next game we got here is an absolute gem, classic, greatest of all time video game, and that there is The Simpsons Hit and Run. This is the original Xbox version. This one here goes for a grand total of $26. So Hit and Run is definitely starting to get up there in price. I'd love to get a first print with this one too. I do like playing this on the original Xbox, but obviously I first played it on the PS2. All right, on to the next game. All right, let's go into the next game. So the next game we got here is Rayman 3. This one here I got when I got my first fat Xbox. I got it from a garage sale. It came with this and I believe another game that's in the like standard full print release games, whatever you want to call it. So Rayman 3 is worth a grand total of $7. This one here is also complete with some dog biting marks. If you can, I think it's yeah, there. So there's like bite marks from a dog at some point, I'm guessing. All right, on to the next game. All right, on to the next game. The next game we got here is Splinter Cell. This is the original. I think it was this one that opened the gate to modding the original Xbox, I believe. I think it was a reset glitch you could do with this one. So Splinter Cell on the original Xbox is worth $4. This is the first one. I do remember playing through this one as a kid. I thought it was freaking awesome. I wish Ubisoft would bring back Splinter Cell, but who knows. All right, on to the next game. Okay, on to the next game. So the next game we got here, I mean, do I need to really say anything? It's Halo 2. Halo 2, the best Halo. Like, it's Halo 2. Like, it is the best Halo. This and Halo 3 is a very close second to me, but I love Halo 2. This one here is not complete. This one's the classic edition, as I call it, so it's got classics, and this one's worth $4 reduce. All right, on to the next game. Okay, on to the next game. So the next game we got here is Finding Nemo. If you know anything about this game sucks. Big one. This one's worth $5. I remember this game specifically from going to a restaurant near me that used to have a bunch of Xboxes. It was modded Xboxes, like all the way. And this was the only game that would work. So you'd be sitting there playing the first level. The first level absolutely sucked, a big one. Like, this is when I believe the Disney game started to suck a little bit. So, yeah, Finding Nemo on the original Xbox is $5 reduce. On to the next game. Okay, on to the next game. And the next game is Spider-Man on the original Xbox. This one here is worth $7. I do want to get this one in the first print and Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is the GOAT. Spider-Man 1 is a bit rough around the edges. I did play through it way back in the day on stream. I actually played on the actual hardware. I think it was on either the Xbox version or it was a PS2 version. I can't remember, but we did play this through stream. And the original Spider-Man on Xbox, the original Xbox, is worth $7. All right, on to the next game. All right, on to the next game. So the next game here we have is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. This is one of the list of the games that I would like to get Japanese versions of. Want to get a collection of Japanese prints of Western games. I don't know, it seems really interesting just to see the difference. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 is worth $13. This one here is complete. And this is the other game that I got when I got my original Xbox. I got Rayman 3, and then I got one other game, which will be the next game anyway. So, yep, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, $13. Okay, on to the next game. And this is another game that I got with my original Xbox. I got it at a garage sale, and when I show you what console I got at a garage sale for how much, you'll be shocked. It was before kind of collecting was so expensive. So Medal of Honor Rising Sun, this is kind of like, I think this is just after it started to kind of fall off. So Medal of Honor is $7. This one here is kind of complete. It's complete, but it's got a classics version of the game. I'll definitely have to fix that up at some point. So yeah, Medal of Honor is worth a grand total of $7 dues. On to the next game. All right, next game we got here is Halo 2 on the original Xbox. This is a first print, obviously, with the not classics version, essentially. Halo 2 is worth $9. Interesting thing about this one, when I did go to pick this one up, you got both the manuals, and here there's two manuals. For some reason, they gave me 2 copies. Now, you can never go wrong with 2 copies of Halo 2. I'm guessing the reason why that there's 2 copies in here is because when the people that would have originally owned this probably would have used it for LAN parties. It's pretty cool seeing the old Samsung logo there, and you can win a prize. I wonder if I can still enter it. But no, this one is complete. I believe that's an old Big W. It's an old Big W sticker right there. So yeah, that's Halo 2. So yep, just a reminder, Halo 2 is worth $9 dues. All right, on to the next game. Okay, so on to the next game. So the next game we have here is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This one here is a complete first print copy. As you can see, you got the disc there, the manual there, and There's Harry Potter exploring random shit. And this one here is worth a grand total of $20. All right, on to the next game. Okay, next game we got here. This one definitely has seen better days. I got this one like dirt cheap back in the day. This is Brute Force. This is worth $6. This game is awesome. If you haven't played it, give it a whirl. This one here is not complete. This is obviously one of the ones that I'm going to get replaced at some point. But no, this game here, absolutely awesome, good fun, and it is worth $6 dues. All right, on to the next game. Okay, so the next game we got here is True Crime Streets of LA. I definitely need to get into these games. I've heard some good things about this one. This one's worth $5. I think this was released on both the original Xbox and 360, I think. I think it's one of those titles. But no, we'll definitely have to check this one out. So True Crime Streets of LA is worth a grand total of $5. All right, on to the next game. Okay, next game we got here is SSX 3. EA's big. That was awesome. They made some really fun sports titles. It's basically like an extreme sports titles. So this one here is worth a grand total of $8. This one's complete. That's a really cool looking disc, eh? It's like super shiny and got the manual, and the back of it looks perfectly fun. All right, on to the next game. Okay, next game we got here is Unreal Tournament 2. The Land of Conflict. This one here is worth a grand total of $8. I never played an Unreal Tournament game. It's definitely something I need to get into. Obviously, it's a bit late to play. I'm guessing online's probably dead. I think they did re-release this at some point, I think. I think they made a new one. I can't remember. But anyway, Unreal Tournament 2 is worth a grand total of $8 dues. On to the next game. Okay. All right, next game we got here is Mech Assault. So Mech Assault is worth a grand total of $11. I've always wanted to get... There's that game that has... It's like a mech game, but it has like a full-on decked-out controller. I have to show you that, guys. I'll show you a little picture over there. So Mech Assault is worth $11 on the original Xbox. All right, let's go on to the next game. Okay, so on to the next game. So the next game we have here is WrestleMania 21. Now, this one's like a super cool game I have in my collection. I only have one of these, and this is a promotional copy of WrestleMania 2. It's crazy. There's a guy there we won't mention. We've got Ric Flair, Chris Benoit, Taker, Randy Orton. It's got this little thing here. It's just really cool to have a game that is a press release copy. I don't have any press release copies, so I think this is really cool. WrestleMania on the original Xbox is worth $7. It's not complete. I'll definitely have to get another copy of this, but yeah, so it's one of the only but promotional games that I have in my collection. All right, let's go on to the next game. Okay, on to the next game. The next game we got here is Madagascar on the Xbox. This one here is worth a grand total of $9 dues. There is something I'm going to do a video on how to remove these annoying stickers. No offense, Starboard Games. Nothing against you guys. Just some stickers get a little bit tacky on the front bit, but I'll show you how to remove that in a later video. So yeah, this one here is worth a grand total of $9. Madagascar. This one here is also complete. All right, on to the next game. Okay, so the next game we got here is AFL Live 2003. This one's worth $6, and this is a part of, like I've been trying to say, I want to collect all the AFL football Australian rules games from the NES all the way up to the modern games. So yeah, it's worth $6. I don't think this one's complete. I definitely need to go and get a complete copy of that. It's just cool to have games that are Australian demographically made. I don't know if these were ever released overseas, maybe New Zealand, but I'd have to have a look into that. Anyway, let's go on to the next game. Okay, on to the next game. And the next game I do have here is the Ultimate Spider-Man. This was really cool. It was when, I believe, Blockbuster was like vamanosing, getting the hell out of here. This was really cool to grab. This is $17. It's got the old Blockbuster, I guess, game art, which is really interesting to see because this no longer exists anymore, especially in Australia. The case has seen better days, but the game is complete and is worth $17. On to the next game. All right, the next game we got here is Prince of Persia: The Two Thorns. On the original Xbox, Prince of Persia is worth a grand total of $5. This one here is complete. As you can see, there's the manual, the disc, and that's the back. And I didn't open this one, but it still had the original Xbox seal on there. I remember as a kid when you'd go, and it was like the most satisfying feeling of all time. So yeah, that's the Prince of Persia. On to the next game. Okay, the next game we have here is All-Star Baseball 2003. This one here is worth a grand total of $13. I did keep the... Oh, look, it's a different type of seal there for the Xbox seal at the side of the discs. This is one of those ones with real thick manual, eh? So yeah, this one's worth a grand total of $13. On to the next game. Okay, on to the next game. So the next game we have here is the Lara Croft Tomb Raider Legends. This one here is worth a grand total of $8. This one here is complete. I do love Lara Croft games or the Tomb Raider games. It's always been one of my favorite games to play, and it's really interesting to see, IO Interactive are the ones that, or IO Interactive are the ones that made Lara Croft and Hitman. All right, so let's go on to the next game. All right, the next game we got here is Lego Star Wars, the video game. If you haven't played a Lego Star Wars game, you're living under a rock. These are the most fun flipping games you can possibly play. Star Wars is worth $5. I remember my mum got me these at I believe at a garage sale, which was pretty cool. So this one here is worth a grand total of $5. On to the next game. Okay, next game we got here is Cold Fusion by Ubisoft. I've never played it. It looks like maybe it's like a knockoff of like Resident Evil kind of vibe is what it gives me. So Cold Fusion is worth a grand total of $16. And this one here is also complete. All right, on to the next game. All right, and the next game we got here is the original Star Wars Battlefront on the original Xbox. If you played this back in the day, it was so much fun. I believe this one had like really good multiplayer on it. I used to play it with my cousins. So Star Wars Battlefront on the original Xbox is worth $8. The second one is a little bit better. And there you go. So it's complete with a manual, and we'll go on to the next game. All right, on to the next game. The next game we got here is Van Helsing. I'm terrible at pronouncing. So this one's worth $4. This one here is not complete. This would be really interesting to kind of just go through and see if it's really good or really shit. Anyway, on to the next game. All right, next game we got here is Cabela's Dangerous Hunt. I've used to play Cabela's games on like arcades where you like go shooting animals and go hunting and all that kind of stuff. Never played it with the controller. It's an on-rails shooter. Yeah, I think I only checked it out once or twice. On-rail shooters get a little bit boring after a while, to be completely honest with you. And this one here is worth a grand total of $7. All right, on to the next game. The next game we got here is Star Wars Republic Commando. This one is super fun. I believe you play as, I think it's played in first person, I think. This one's really, really good, really fun, and it's worth $11. All right, let's go into the next game. All right, on to the next game. The next game we got here is Midtown Madness 3. I've never played this game. It's a racing car, but I think it's like all like mini cars, and it's like, you can see it's like in Paris and stuff. Maybe I'll check this one out, maybe. Oh, not for resale, naughty. So yeah, Midtown Madness 3, it's complete. This game here is worth a grand total of $13 dues. All right, on to the next game. All right, next game we have here is Area 51. This one's worth $7. I have never played this game. I think maybe once or twice. I honestly can't remember. They made a game about Area 51. So random, such a ooze game. But no, Area 51 is worth $7 on the original Xbox. All right, let's go to the next game. All right, next game we got here is Tony Hawk's Project 8 on the original Xbox. This one here is worth $9. This one is complete with the manual. I think this is like one of the last normal Tony Hawk games. I think this might be one of the last Neversoft ones. I think it's this and Proving Grounds are the last two. So yeah, Tony Hawk's Project 8 is worth $9 dues. On to the next game. All right, next game we have here is an unfortunate one. I'm definitely going to have to rebuy this, but Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox is $11. Unfortunately, I think it got a little bit of liquid damage, which sucks. But anyway, This one here is not even complete anyway. So it's got a classics version of the disc. That will definitely have to rebuy this one. But anyway, original Halo. Halo is the game that I remember playing Halo 1 on the fat Xbox on a tiny, tiny screen. I had a blast playing this, playing so many levels on, I think, Battles Creek and Blood Gulch. And obviously what came out of this, Red versus Blue, like, oh, chef's kiss this game, chef's kiss, and $11. So if you do want to get Combat Evolved, it's $11 on the original Xbox. All right, on to the next game. All right, on to the next game. The next game we have here is another version of Doom 3. This is the collector's edition. This one's worth $11. It's one of those steel cases somehow that I have in my collection that hasn't started to go bad from this generation, which I'll show you a horror story very soon. So, yep, the limited edition version is worth $12. All right, let's go on to the next game. All right, next game we have here is Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is such a fun game on the original Xbox. This one's worth $6. It's not complete. I definitely am going on a track record of replacing games that aren't complete and replacing them with complete games, which I will explain in my hopefully to be soon coming retro hunting, game hunting series. I can hopefully get that out, but that's just pending at the moment. All right, on to the next game. All right, the second last game we do have here is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. This is the best way to play it during that generation, which is on the original Xbox. I can't say, like, this game, it was insane as a kid. I remember I had a pirated version of this on the PS2, and I would have been, like, probably maybe 10 at the time, I think. And I was playing the game, and I went to the burger shop, and I had a flamethrower, and my mum came in, she goes, "What the hell are you doing?" She took it out, and I never got to play San Andreas till about maybe 5 or so years later when I was able to play it. But this game is incredible. I played through it 100 times. This one here is complete, so it's worth $13. Ooh, we have a receipt. Why don't we see if we can make out how much this game was worth? All right, so I found out how much. Okay, so I have found out when and how much this guy paid for it. I'm trying not to, like, DOS this guy. But you can see he bought a couple of games here. He bought, it looks like Midnight Club, GoldenEye 2, and there it is, San Andreas. $100 dues back in, like, probably like 2000 and whenever this game came out, 2005. And this one's complete with the map and the poster, which I'd like to frame at some point. All right, anyway, on to the next game. All right, and the last game I have here, I have it in a baggie because I'm trying to keep it from rusting. I don't know how to keep it from rusting. I definitely do want to get a sealed version of this. This is Halo 2, the collector's edition. This one's worth a grand total of $17. You have to just keep it in, like, a moisture-free environment because they just, unfortunately, this is like one of the first steelbook cases and they just rust. It's such a shame, and I believe this one comes with a DVD. Yeah, it does. I'm gonna definitely chuck this on after this game, after this video, because I have watched that in ages, like the Halo 3 one. I think it's like a making of, so I'll definitely have to play that again. All right, so on to the next part where I explain how much the total of the game collection's worth of Xbox. All right, I'll see you guys over there.
All right, so I've gone ahead and shown you how much individual games are worth for the original Xbox that I have in my collection. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the total of what that is right now. So the total of that is $403 Australian and $283 in United States dollars. So yeah, that's really good. It's one of those consoles that I've been collecting for quite some time. It's probably not my biggest ones. Like I've been saying, there are bigger ones that are coming along. I'm just trying to do the smaller ones and the easier ones first, so that way we can build to the end of the games collection, and we'll go to the consoles and controllers, and we'll do all of that eventually. So yeah, so just to give you guys a little bit of a recap here at the end of the video. So my original Xbox games are worth $403 Australian. My PS PS3 games are worth 462 Australian, and PS1 is worth 228 Australian, and that brings it to a total of $1,093 Australian. And for United States price, it brings it down to 767 and 56 cents United States dollars. All right, so if you guys have been enjoying these collection videos, please let me know down in the comments below what your favorite original Xbox game is. My favorite original Xbox game is Halo 2. It just brings back so many warm, fuzzy memories of playing that on an old CRT tube TV. There's so many cool things you can do. You can mod the shit out of them. I remember playing it with one of my best friends that we used to have sleepovers, and we'd play Halo literally all night, just playing Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. We used to play them back to back at some points. We tried to win the Legendary and completely fail. But no, there's so many great memories about the original Xbox, which I'd like to do maybe a series about my memories of consoles and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this has been me, Mr. Dan1268, otherwise known as the Dan. Please go ahead and like the video, smash that notification bell like it's a freaking grunt coming after you. Just want to melee the back of them so you can get rid of their weird oxygen tank looking things. And if you do want to go ahead and subscribe over here, it's really appreciative. We're trying to build to that goal, and once we get to that goal, it'll be really good for you guys and for me. And if you guys want to go ahead and watch the show live tonight, 6 o'clock, we're playing Crash Bandicoot 2. We're almost through it. We're up to about 60% completion over there on Twitch and YouTube. We stream at 6 o'clock Australian time. So if you're there, holler from YouTube, or if you want to go ahead and sub and follow over there, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, this is Mr. Dan1268. Remember, keep it retro. Catch you guys on the next video.